No, it's not their ear. He's like a candiru, that fish in the Amazon. He goes up their
Right
pee-hole.
up the dick.
Right up
Right
the
up
dick,
the
dude.
dick.
Right at full size. Right up the dick.
Brennan, you are shockingly close, and you did not.
Actually,
Joining us today, we have Shane Crown,
Good afternoon.
Siobhan Thompson,
Good evening.
and Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Good luck.
I have here a stack of false statements about the properties that you love or some other nerds somewhere love. It's up to you to find the thing that's wrong and correct me. All your corrections must be preceded by the phrase, actually. If you don't say actually, you won't get a point. All right, we are going to jump right in here. In the original Star Trek, Spock has a faint greenish-yellow hue to create a subtle alien otherworldly look. While this color is now iconic enough that you can buy pre-mixed versions of the makeup called LN number 1, the original plan was to have Spock be blue. Shane?
The original plan was for him to not be blue. The original plan was for him to be green.
You didn't say actually, and it's incorrect.
No, no!
Oh no.
Do I lose 2 points?
No. Brennan.
Actually, the makeup is not called Ellen number 1.
It is called Ellen number 1. Leonard Nimoy number 1. It's named after him.
I love him.
Yeah.
Actually, he wasn't gonna be blue. He was gonna be orange.
You know what? You're close enough that I'll just do it, because otherwise we're just gonna go into a round of
Yes,
people
different
guessing
colors.
different colors.
Mauve! Magenta!
He wasn't originally supposed to be blue. He was originally supposed to be red. And then when they tested it, they found that most people at the time had black and white TVs, and it looked like Spock was in blackface with the red
Cool.
makeup on. And they said, we should not do this. We should go for something a little lighter and
You know
something
what?
else.
Star Trek always been woke.
This is about Star Wars. The Max Rebo Band is a musical group that we see performing in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. The band features the titular Max Rebo, Doda Bodenowidu, Droopy McCool, Rapper Tooney, Melodious Orkelhorn, and Cy Snoodles, among others. Shane.
Actually, that's one too many names. I think one of those isn't there. I know Cy Snoodles, I know Droopy McCool, I know Max Rebo.
Wait, Droopy
You
McCool
know
is real?
Droopy McCool?
What is your correction? You're saying...
I think you said 2 other names, and I don't think there are 2 other members of the band.
That's incorrect. There's actually like 5 other members of the band. I just didn't have the space to fucking list them all.
Actually, Melodious Orkelhorn is something you just made up.
That's actually correct.
You know why? It makes a little too much sense.
Yeah, I know it does. And that one goes to Siobhan. We are going to move on to our shiny question for the game. Shiny questions, like shiny Pokemon, that they're just a little bit different, a little bit rare, worth the same number of points. This is a little game that we're going to call Where Am I?
Where am I?
Reach under that couch. These images are maps, and it's up to you to tell me where we are, what this is a map of. So let's look at that first map. Where are we? What is this? Siobhan.
This is the 5th season world.
What's it called?
Oh no! Oh.
I will give it to you if no one else can get it, because you got the property.
I have no idea. I was going to guess that it's a tectonic Westeros.
That's
It's like
pretty
a-
much what it is.
Kind of is
actually.
Tectonic Western. Yeah, I'll give it to you, Siobhan. You're able to identify the franchise. It's the Stillness. It's called the Stillness. All right, move on to the next map here. Where are we? What's all this about? Hey, Brennan, what's up?
Actually, this is World of Warcraft. Azeroth is the name of one of the original nations. Is Azeroth also the name of the world?
Azeroth is the name of the world, yeah. So you're correct, you're in the right place, right name. That is a mini point for Brennan there. And then let's move on to that next map. Where am I? What is this? Brennan.
Actually, these are the lands of rhyme and reason from the Phantom Tollbooth.
That's correct. I think they might technically be labeled as the lands beyond, but this is the Kingdom of Rhyme and Reason from the Phantom Tollbooth. That's 2 for Brennan, 1 for Siobhan. Let's check out that next map. Where am I?
I am just out of my depth here.
Not a cartographer?
I haven't heard of any of these things that he's talking
Actually,
about.
is this a real map of a real place?
Yes.
is this somewhere in Hawaii?
No.
Somewhere in the Pacific?
Yeah. I'm very proud that you saw through my trickery here.
I was like, why does it have heights of
Heights
mountains.
on mountains. That's too specific.
That's too specific for a fantasy map. There's no pictures of dragons on this map.
I'll give you the point. This is just Fiji. This is a real place you can go to. I never said you'd be looking at fantasy maps. This is Fiji. What a lovely place. Visit beautiful
We're just
Fiji.
all being punished for our Eurocentrism here, is the idea. Suva, Latoka, what fantastical names!
Crazy thing is this?
Yeah.
The last map. Here we go. Brennan.
Actually, this is Florida.
Wrong. This is I'm once again
No,
fucking with
I'm
you.
right. This is Florida. This is Florida.
No, it's not.
Actually, this is Westeros, but with a bunch of flowers over it.
No, that's incorrect. In a weird way, Brennan is closer. Brennan.
Actually, is this this is like meta Florida? It's
like a
magic. Is it like magic underside Florida?
The Florida Chronicles.
You,
Sure.
I mean, you are in practice kind of describing what it is, but it does have a very specific name.
Florida.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no one gets this one. This is Xanth from the Piers Anthony books. It is a magical world that is extremely identical to Florida. You might notice here even some of the names. I believe there's the
Yeah,
Ogre
Everglades.
Finoger Swamp.
The idea of like Aslan showing up in like a floral aloha shirt
Yeah.
and like
Amazing.
flip-flops being like,
Daughters of Eve, sons of Adam, I've been cooking crystal meth in a trailer behind the alligator sanctuary.
You both tied for that one, so I'm going to give you both a point since we have no tiebreaker here. That is 1 point for both of you. On where are we? None for Shane, unfortunately.
I love maps
That was
so
great.
much.
I love maps.
If you open a book and there's a
Map at the front and a list of character names at the back.
ooh, you know you're in for a good book.
God.
On the X-Files, we're told that the truth is out there, but sometimes the storylines are also a little out there. In the episode Badla, a legless beggar has the otherworldly ability to change size, crawl into people's ears, and control their mind. Shane.
Actually, he's not legless.
He is a legless beggar,
Oh.
yeah.
Actually, it's not an otherworldly ability. It is born of the phenomenon in the natural universe in which X-Files occurs. So to say that it's otherworldly is technically incorrect.
No, I'm not going to do that for you.
Get in the comments. Get my back.
Actually, he doesn't crawl into people's ears. He can just control them from the outside.
No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna call it here unless.
No, it's not their ear. He's like a candiru, that fish in the Amazon. He goes up their
Right up the
pee-hole.
dick.
Right up
Right
the dick,
up the
dude.
dick.
Right at full size. Right up the dick.
Brennan, you are shockingly close, and you did not
Actually,
and I will not give you the point. He crawls up people's butts, and he doesn't control their mind. He beats them up from the inside.
I don't like this.
No points.
You know what? I feel fine about that.
Dragons come in many shapes and sizes, and subcategories of dragon can be identified through slight differences in their appearance. For example, wyverns have only 2 legs, worms are enormous, legless, wingless serpents, and Japanese dragons are long, flying, 4-legged creatures with 4 toes on each foot. Brennan.
Actually, I feel like there's maybe a couple of mistakes there. First of all, if you're using the taxonomy from Lord of the Rings, there are wingless and winged worms. So that's one incorrect thing. And then I also believe that dragons exist throughout different Asiatic cultures, but some of them are even pictured as having 3 legs and not having 4, I believe. I don't know if that's...
There's some correct things in there, but I want to hear what Shane has to say first.
Cool.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think you said 4 toes.
Uh-huh.
It's not 4 toes. It's 3 toes.
That is correct. Japanese dragons have 3 toes on each foot. Chinese dragons have 4 toes on each foot, unless it's for the emperor, in which case it has 5. I'm inclined to give you both points. A little vague, and it's not incorrect what you've said. So points for your worm correction, points for your dragon toes correction.
On the board.
On the board. And that brings us to our final question of the game, which of course concerns real life skills.
Life skills!
When disposing of cooking fat, it's important to know what kind of fat you're using. Vegetable fats like canola and olive oil never solidify at room temperature and can therefore be poured down the drain. Animal fats like bacon drippings, lard, and schmaltz solidify at room temp and should be thrown in the trash.
why don't you go?
Actually, schmaltz is not animal fat.
Schmaltz is chicken fat. Schmaltz is animal fat. Yeah.
Actually, you shouldn't throw vegetable oil down the drain because it could interact with chemicals in the sewage system, which will make it solidify.
That's close enough. You shouldn't pour any of these fats down the drain. They will gunk up your pipes.
I put all my oil down there.
You should not put that oil down that drain. You're gonna have some problems later. Well, that point goes to Siobhan. 4 points for Siobhan, making Siobhan our winner for this episode.
I'm a
of
Chinese dragon, baby.
Now, we're not perfect here either, and we make mistakes too. If you notice something that we got wrong, you can tweet at us at @actuallyshow. We might give you a point. Some of you noticed some things that we got wrong in the last episode. Here are those corrections.
At Captain TARDIS says, actually, Peregrine Took's real Westron name was Razanar Took. J.R.R. Tolkien anglicized names preserve the etymological intent of their true names for English-speaking readers. At Carl Hutters says, actually, Hodor's real name in Game of Thrones isn't Walder. Walder is Hodor's real name in A Game of Thrones and the rest of A Song of Ice and Fire. You, however, referenced Game of Thrones, the TV series in which Hodor's real name is Willis. Yes, I should have said A Game of Thrones if I was talking about the book. And at Star Metal Games says, actually, you couldn't play Princess Peach in Super Mario Kart in 1992. The manual simply refers to her as Princess. Princess Toadstool wasn't referred to as Peach in English until the Yoshi Story Manual in 1993.
And that's it for the episode. Join us next time for even more pedantic corrections here on Actually. Hi, it's Mike Trapp from CollegeHumor. Click here to subscribe, click here for more fun things, and send help to keep me from sinking. Please help. Please help.